Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT Rostermania. Loads of new updates over the last 24 hours, but also lots of talk going into the franchise league as to what maps are going to be used in the competitive perspective. ShahZaM gave his thoughts a few days ago that Breeze should be gone. Many pros want Split back, and Sinatraa says that Fracture, being the worst map ever created in gaming history, needs to be the one to go instead. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty to discuss as always. Firstly, this weekend, finally something happening from a competitive perspective here in this off-season. The FaZe Smeeg All-Star Weekends. So babybay's brought some heavy hitters in, and these are the captains. So ShahZaM, Tarek, Shanks, Pod, Wardell, ShahZaM, Stewie 2K and Jonas. They are all captaining teams this weekend. So exciting stuff to see who comes out on top in this one, in these kind of off-season tourneys. Still some big questions to me on many of these names. Wardell, ShahZaM, Stewie 2K, just for example, where are they going to end up this season? Because for now, we don't really have any links between these players to tier 2 rosters, and we still don't have EG or NRG confirmed yet for the North American Franchise League. Just a quick notice on this, because if any of you guys have been watching the Rio Major for CSGO, one thing that was noted is that, of course, well, the Rio crowd was doing a fair bit of help to their kind of Brazilian teams at times, and to counteract this, they decided for the in-stadium broadcast to get rid of the minimap and the X-ray vision for the caster. Now, this is something that could be doable in Valorant as well, and it might just, well, I don't know, it might help to some degree, because we've seen in the past that certain teams can get help from crowds that support those particular teams, and it can work, well, for competitive integrity reasons, it's not exactly ideal for that to be the case. Now, you can argue whether the pro should just adapt to it and get used to it, because you can use the crowd to your advantage to some degree. Let's say, you know, you're trying to clutch a 1 versus 1, you stick the bomb, the crowd goes crazy, and then, you know, you can catch the guy coming to get you because you know the crowd's going to give away the defuse. You can use it to your advantage, but at the same time, like, the crowd can also give away, you know, they can chant AAA, BBB, or whatever, depending on where they're going, and if you do this, then that's no longer the case. I wonder if it's something that Valorant could consider going forwards to eliminate the crowd advantage effect that can be had at certain stadiums. Not, of course, valid or liable all the time, but in certain situations, it could be beneficial, especially going to Sao Paulo, Brazil as well, for the first event in February. It might be something they would want to consider depending on which teams happen to be playing. Let's talk tier 2. Firstly, from Sonics, they confirm their new era in Valorant. So, you know, Pura's returning, Shonk and these guys are joining the squad as well. Lucas Rojo is the head coach returning. So, yeah, interesting stuff for sure. One of the earliest teams to really confirm in the tier 2 side what they're planning to do. A few changes to their roster, but yeah, still, we're expecting more and more organizations over time to make the return to tier 2. Sonics Esports are going to give it a go once again for next season with a similar kind of team and set of players, but these are the rosters for the upcoming season. Mina, Pura, Nerve, Shonk and Rooney going to round out the team. This also from HaZe tier on NRG. Officially, HaZe's time is over with NRG going forwards. Officially a free agent, he says. Wonder what's going to happen to HaZe, whether he runs it back on tier 2 or what exactly the plan is for him. But yeah, it was honestly a really good team and fun team to watch. NRG, they probably, it's not like they deserved more success than they had, but I feel like they could have done better than they actually did. They were probably a better team than their placements implied, to be honest, last season, but still, the team is at an end. Obviously, they've gone an entirely different direction with their IGL now not being HaZe anymore, but FNS has come through, Crashies, Victor, they've all come through. Marv could have been there as we talked out instead, and we think that Artis is going to be their 5th instead of Yay from that former Optical, but everyone else is gone. The only other member here that probably is going to still be in the franchise league is Ethan, who we still expect to join Evil Geniuses. That is the present rumor, but as I say, nothing yet confirmed on that because EG are taking their sweet time, as in fairness are NRG, but HaZe's contract is now at an end. And just to say this quickly, because ShahZaM is honestly the master beta in many ways. I mean, this guy, if you see him on stream at all and he says anything, take it with a massive pinch of salt, because he simply cannot help himself from just trolling and baiting around. He's been saying on stream that, oh yeah, my time at NRG is going to soon come to an end. If it does, fair play, and he's not baiting, but it's kind of a boy who cried wolf situation, because it's very clear that ShahZaM we think is going to be staying. He says going to miss competing, but yeah, don't buy into this much. He's going to be the 5th man for NRG to the best of our understanding. This also quickly, one of the players that was initially linked with Na'Vi has now been released as a free agent, definitely adding more fuel to the fire of the possibility of the former FPX lineup joining Na'Vi. We saw ages ago now that leak happened where Na'Vi kind of leaked their Angels shirt or whatever it was in that video, and almost like they'd made it already for FPX to come through. Still not confirmed confirmed though, and we think that it's going to be cNed, right, as their 5th man instead, but still, just a further indication that indeed that probably is progressing, and FPX to Na'Vi is going to happen in due course as well. Let's talk tier 2. Some update on this spreadsheet over the last 24 hours or so. This is from the North American side. We saw yesterday, if you guys missed it, Nismo, John QT, BCJ EU, potentially Xander, Kuala Noob on this unknown organization. G2, we have no idea. FaZe, etc. Sonics, we saw them get confirmed. Just wanted a quick note here on Oxygen Academy because they're obviously trialing many players right now, but apparently Mitch might be in the conversation, formerly of Cloud9. Then Kanpeki as well, of course, former Sentinels player from last season when he was briefly on Sentinels after they brought him in at the end of that season, right? So yeah, lots of things going on here, and Valin potentially still at the guard. There's still some questions about Valin because he might be on EG, he might not be, he might still be on the guard. So tough to say, but things are kind of developing as time has progressed. But lots of these names have probably already been signed, are locked in contracts, but we probably need a couple more organizations to come through. Depends on what XSET do, what G2 decide to do, if we are going to get the likes of, you know, ShahZaM and others in this position, dapr, Zoms, etc. to actually compete in tier 2. Because if they do, it's going to be a good time. But for now, we're not really sure what rosters they might go to, if any. Let's talk about the map set though for next season, because always an important one really, what the map set looks like. Pearl has just been added to the map set instead of Split, of course, and Pearl is going to stay around for quite some time. Some other maps though that have been in the game for a long time might need some changes, might need some adaptation, but others like Ascent, for example, I think are pretty damn good as they are. Sinatraa though was playing ranked last night and was very frustrated indeed at playing Fracture again. Fracture does seem to come up an awful lot in the ranked queue, to be honest, and Sinatraa was like, look, I'm fed up with this map. It's the worst map ever created in gaming history, not just Valorant history, and it needs to go ASAP, and Split needs to return.
Match found.
God help us.
What? What is this map again?
Yes, I popped.
Everybody's.
This map is actually, bro. It's actually like the worst map in gaming history. I'm not even trolling. Need to bring back Split. In gaming history, yeah, out of every game in the world, bro. You have like every Call of Duty map, CS:GO map, everything. This is like literally the worst map by far I've ever played.
So what do you guys think about Fracture in general? I like the concept in theory, the idea that you can kind of, you know, attack a site from 2 sides. It's pretty interesting. Is it great though? I'm not really sure, to be honest. It's a nice, innovative idea. Does it play particularly well? I'm not so convinced. Yes, they changed a few things around with how the dish works, and there's many changes they made recently that make the map play different. I don't know if it plays especially better. I'd say there's some beneficial perspectives to the way the map is now designed and set out and plays, but it's still not a great Valorant map in my opinion. It's a pretty good one. It can be entertaining to watch as well because there's lots of different things you can do from an attacking perspective, and it has, you know, that interesting gimmick with the zip line that every Valorant map seems to have some sort of gimmick. Now the other question is though, if Fracture's not going to go, or if it is going to go, what happens? Because I would be very surprised, to be honest, if Split doesn't return for the upcoming Valorant franchising season. It seems about right that Split, after a few months out of the game, is going to have some tweaks to it and is going to return. As I've said before, I don't think it's an absolute #1 best map in Valorant, but it's a very solid map. I think it's a pretty middle of the road map, maybe middle upper of the road, and from a viewing perspective creates way more exciting phenomenon in my opinion than Fracture has in general, and also these other maps have. Breeze is okay, but I'm not a big fan of Breeze either. So some reckons Breeze should go, Split should return. I'm sure other pros would say Bind should go. I'm sure other pros would say Icebox should go. So there's been some maps that have had some tweaks. Icebox had some tweaks and stayed in the map set, as did Fracture, and Breeze, we've had a few things, but nothing really major going on over there. So what map would you guys remove? Like, going into the new season, I expect, honestly, it to be one of the more old school maps. I know that pros want some reworks potentially to the way that Bind might play out, and it's kind of difficult to say what you do with Bind exactly to improve it, because the map design is laid out in such a way, like, it's kind of difficult to see what you change with Binds to make it play better, because, you know, it's designed around the teleportation and stuff like this as well. But I think that given a few months out, Split probably will come back, thinking it seems more likely they'll replace a map that kind of needs serious adjustment and changes, or they might want to reinvent to a certain degree. And I think that's probably more likely to be a map that's been out for a long time rather than one of the new ones that's had recent changes, because they probably don't want to have done all this work on Fracture and then remove it anyway, despite what Sinatraa might be saying on stream recently. Quick note as well here from Trick thought was pretty funny, because Vanity and Ye, of course, teammates on Cloud9 going forwards, they played some sort of 1 versus 1 last night, and clearly Vanity did not exactly have the best result here. 10-0 in Ye's favor so far. So, I mean, yeah, I think there was even a funny clip that came out recently when Vanity was saying in the former days where they played each other in a couple of matches, he could barely even kill Ye, and now he's got the luxury as an IGL of being able to team with him going forwards. So yeah, that's Ye versus Yanity so far. And just to mention this from Pancada to close out the video, a crazy, look at this spray transfer as well, to close out this, well, close out the video, comes through the brimstone smoke, gets 1, gets 2, the third snap is crazy, that looked like Trent on the map to be honest, but Trent not in the franchise league. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below, hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Enemy down.
O homem. Vou tirar a mira aqui. Nada close.
One enemy remaining.
Caralho!
Attackers win.
Parabéns.